Hello everybody, this is Natural Migraine Solutions. My name is Dr. James Pietrek. I'm an upper cervical chiropractor here in Rancho Bernardo. Today I want to talk to you about 3 keys to breathing better in order to get better oxygen flow to the different tissues in our body, especially our brain. Now our brain consumes about 20% of the oxygen inflow into our bodies, and what you're going to learn here is that it's actually proper utilization of carbon dioxide that really makes the difference in increasing our overall oxygen flow in our bodies by say 5, 10, 15, maybe even more percentage points. What we have to remember is these 3 things. We want to get better at breathing through our nose. We want to get better at belly breathing. And finally, we want to control the rate, our breathing rate. A lot of us are breathing too fast. Let's start from the top, literally, and we're going to be focusing on breathing more through our nose. Notice that bigger tube up at the top, that's the pharynx. Underneath that is the larynx. And you see that it's a bigger tube at the top, and that's feeding straight down into your trachea and into the lungs. Now, where should your tongue be on a usual basis? It should actually be at the top of your mouth, because then this creates a more straight flow of the air in through your mouth. It doesn't get trapped here. It doesn't come back like this and then go up here and then go down. It's more of a straight flow right into your trachea and your lungs. Now, when you breathe through your nose, you are automatically humidifying the air, you are filtering the air, and you're conditioning it. It's already, by the time it gets down here, it's much closer to your actual body temperature. Because if you're breathing through your mouth all the time, very, very shallowly, let's say, and your chest is going in and out, well, you're not really conditioning that air. Your trachea and your lungs, they don't have temperature sensors in the lining in those tissues. But rest assured, there is an adaptation that has to take place. And that's what can stress us out when we have to adapt to multiple things, not just consciously. You don't really think about your breathing, right? But I want you to get better at that. I want you to think about your breathing more so that you don't have to think about it as much. You can get better oxygen circulation. You're going to be creating less little stress responses within your body. Your body won't have to adapt to cooking up the temperature once it's already in your lungs, because it'll be better conditioned as it goes through your nose. You might be thinking, I'm always congested. I can't breathe through one side, one nostril as well as the other side. And that's very, very common. You might look at restricting certain foods for a while and then reintroducing them, because you could be having an inflammatory process to some foods that you might be sensitive to. Some nightshades, you might Google that online. Or another one is a sinus rinse. You might take a sinus rinse or a neti pot to just make sure that the passages are nice and clear. One thing that can also happen is right where the bone comes in contact with the cartilage, for whatever reason, sometimes the cartilage in our nose can sort of collapse down. So be careful on this, but what you can do is stick your pinkies up there and then rotate out like that. So go up until it can't go up anymore. You're not going to force it. You're going to be very gentle. And then rotate like that, and that's going to help you get better oxygen flow, if only for 10 minutes at a time, especially prior to a focused, concentrated breathing type of exercise. Now, the next thing is you want to focus on belly breathing more. The reason for that is because most of the alveoli in the bottom is located in the bottom of your lungs. Alveoli are the oxygen receptor sites. So since they're in the bottom 1/3 of your lungs, you really got to focus your air to that area. And how we're going to do that is by using your diaphragm better. Your diaphragm muscle, which sits right underneath the lungs, we want to be able to use that. So to keep things simple, first of all, be thankful that you're not a Spartan, because they were in training to drink about this much water, or actually hold it in their mouths, and not spit it out, so that they would be forced to breathe in through their nose, so that they could better build up their oxygen reserves upon going into battle. Okay? And then they would spit it out at the end of their practice run. So be thankful that that's not you, first of all. But let's just keep it simple. Just focus on having your belly go in and out more and your chest go in and out less. And the third thing that we want to talk about is breathe slower. Breathe less, breathe slower. It is it is carbon dioxide that loosens the bond between oxygen and hemoglobin within our red blood cells. Again, I'll say it again. Carbon dioxide loosens the bond between oxygen and hemoglobin within our red blood cells. And so if we're breathing shallow, if we're breathing through our chest, we're spitting out the carbon dioxide, we're flushing it out of the system too fast, so it doesn't really have a chance to really separate and get out of the red blood cells and perforate and then get into the other tissues. So we want to be aware of that as well. Think of an accordion player or a pipe organist. They're not constantly pumping the air in and out of their instrument. They're carefully controlling the flow and they're focusing on what their fingers are doing. So you need to get better at doing the same thing. And why is this so important to the migraine sufferer? It's important because studies show that migraines are related to lack of proper blood flow going up into the brain. So what we do in our office is we focus on the misalignment at the top of the neck, because when this happens, not only can it restrict the nerve flow from brain to body, but also the artery known as the vertebral artery comes up here, it branches off, becomes the carotid artery. When that's restricted by misalignment perhaps, that can also negatively affect blood flow to the brain. So I hope this inspires you to be a better breather. If you have any questions or anything at all, shoot me a message back. Be happy to answer it. Be happy to see you at our office here in Rancho Bernardo as well, and share with you more about how we've been helping migraine sufferers in this area for many, many years now. Thanks so much for watching.